Hey there, cool cats and kittens. It's me, Mr. Moonshadow, subbing for Mr. Young today. First of all, what do y'all think of that quote from Ray Lewis? I'm not much of a big football guy. I think it's barbaric and everything. It doesn't fit in well with my groovy lifestyle. But he says, it's hard the most difficult thing is to keep working hard when nobody is watching. So that's kind of the situation we're in right now, you know. It's not very cool, but we got to keep working hard even if the teacher's not right there working over your shoulder. Mr. Young wanted me to work with you cool cats on square roots some more. He said, for the most part, you did pretty well, but some of the harder ones were tricky. And what we're going to learn next week, you got to be really good at square roots. So we're going to work on that for a second week to make sure we get it all figured out, okay? One thing to remember, you cool cats, is numbers almost always have two square roots, okay? I wrote down here the first 13, okay? The square root of 0 is just 0. The square root of 1 is 1 and negative 1. Square root of 4, 2 and negative 2. Square root of 9, 3 and negative 3. Okay, all the way down to the square root of 144 is 12 and negative 12. You got to have those memorized, okay? If you put it in your little calculator, it's only going to give you the positive one. So if you type it in your calculator, make sure you get the positive one and remember the negative one. Okay, let's get started. So, for the most part, you guys did a great job on ones like this where it was just x squared. Remember, our steps are: get the squared part by itself, okay, well that's already done on this one. We just got x squared on the left side. Step 2 was square root each side. Okay, so square root, square root. Remember, the square root of x squared is just x. And step 3 is solve each equation. Okay, on this one, the square root of 4 is 2, and the other one is negative 2. This one, there's nothing left to solve after you do the square root, okay? You cats did great on those ones, all right? It's the more difficult ones we need to work on, so let's look at a few of those. Okay, let's try a couple more with just x squared, actually. Try this one. X squared plus 8 equals 33. Okay, step 1, get the squared part by itself. So I got to get rid of that plus 8. I'm going to do minus 8 on each side. 33 minus 8 is 25. Okay, now we got to do the square root of each side. That's just x. That's so cool. And then the square root of 25 is 5. And the other square root of 5 is negative 5. So I'm going to write it just like that, okay? X equals 5 and x equals negative 5. That's so cool. Okay? Those ones you guys did great with. Okay? Let's try some slightly more difficult ones. Here we go. X plus 2 squared equals 4. Okay? Step 1, get the squared part alone. Groovy. This one's already by itself, right? We got this thing squared on the left side. Step 2, square root of each side. Okay, when you do the square root of x plus 2 squared, what you have left is x plus 2. Okay, what's the square root of 4? Well, we already figured out it's 2. And the other square root of 4 is negative 2. Okay? You cats gotta write them both out like this, okay? If you don't write them out, you're gonna get one of the answers wrong. Now, step 3, solve each equation. Well, these ones are pretty easy to solve. Let's see, 2 minus 2 is 0. There's one of our answers. Minus 2 minus 2. Negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. So those are our two answers, okay? The most common mistake I saw you cats making last week, or Mr. Young saw you guys making, is you would solve the first one and then you would just assume the other answer was negative that. So if you got like x equals 2, you would think, oh, the other answer must be negative 2. But that doesn't work when you got parentheses, okay? Let's try a couple more. How about this one? x plus 1 squared plus 8 equals 33. Okay, step 1, get the squared part alone. Well, there's our squared part. We got this plus 8 we got to get rid of. So I'm going to do minus 8 from each side. See, 33 minus 8 is 25. Okay, step 2, square root each side. Okay, square root of x plus 1 squared is just x plus 1. Square root of 25, well, that is positive 5. And then the other square root of 25 is negative 5. See how I wrote out both equations? That's so cool. Alright, minus 1 from each side. You get x equals 4. The other answer is not going to be negative 4. Okay, let's find out. Negative 5 minus 1 more is negative 6. So those are our two answers right there. Positive 4 and negative 6. Okay, so you got to make sure you write out both of the equations and solve them both. Okay, it might seem silly, but if you don't do that, you're going to get one cool answer and one that's not so cool. Okay, let's try one more. Alright, 2 times x minus 4 squared equals 162. Step 1, get the squared part by itself. Well, I got 2 times this whole squared part, so I got to get rid of times 2. We're going to divide both sides by 2. 2's cancel out. See, 162 divided by 2 is 81. Got the squared part by itself. Now we do the square root of each side. I get x minus 4 equals, let's see, the square root of 81, that's 9. The other square root of 81 is negative 9. And then I solve each equation. So plus 4, x equals 13. And, see, negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. So those are my two answers, okay? That's all there is to it. A lot of you guys did a great job on these ones too. If you're one of those people, this week's going to be a nice easy week for you, okay? There's nothing new really. We just need to practice this more because we got to know how to do these ones before we can move on to next week's stuff, okay? So check the Google Classroom. Watch the little short video. Obviously you already watched it or you wouldn't be watching me talk about, whoa, that's blowing my mind right there. Okay, and then you'll have a few practice problems to do, about 10 of them. Okay, no comprehension check this week. You're just going to complete those 10 problems, take a picture of it, email it to Mr. Young. Okay, it's great to see you cats again. You stay groovy, and I'll see you again on the flip side.